Okay, so I guess I better call us to order before we descend into a complete party here. And so we're called to order, and I'd like to direct us to the approval of minutes from the previous meeting on November 5th. And I did read through it, and
I did read through them too.
I have no comments. Does anybody have any comments or any
No,
adjustments or amendments that they need to make?
no. I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Can I have a second for that?
I second that. I second the approval.
All in favor of approving the minutes for the November 5th meeting?
Aye.
Please say aye.
Aye.
Great, it carries. Actually, having watched Mike Pence until late last night, I was amazed by how he could continually say the right thing. So I've been inspired by him, so I'll try to move along. Let's see, and the director's report, I guess, is the next order of business, and I haven't fully read mine. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to read it.
I
I have the capital expenditure report, but I didn't see a detailed report of the director.
It was in a,
Yesterday, yeah.
Okay,
it was a different email.
well,
Yeah,
There, I saw it.
I saw it too. I read it.
Very good. Good to hear that people are accessing some of the, some of the online opportunities that seem to like to do that. But I think it's probably, as you indicate, in other areas, it's kind of a challenge for some folks to still be involved in certain things that are online.
That is true. That is true. It's interesting though. We are attracting different people than we normally see with our online senior learning network programming. But all, delighted with the offerings, and as I mentioned in the book, just regarding the book discussion, even the people that don't feel comfortable with Zoom are still reading the books, still sharing comments, and feeling very much connected to the group, which is a very good thing, I think, and looking forward, to the ability to meet again in person. So we're not losing these people, even although they're not comfortable participating at this point. Well, they're not participating on Zoom. They're still participating, but they're just not participating on Zoom.
Yeah, no, and I think after such a long time, too, people are a little zoomed out, and it's in the beginning, I think it was a very novel idea to be able to do some things that mimicked what you would normally do, but
Mhm.
given the circumstance, it's a very good option. So it's good that we're continuing on and trying to be effective given the bad circumstances that we've got to deal with.
That's right. This is the reality we have right now.
My phone always rings, excuse me. Always.
And, I would encourage you to continue to try to find interesting things. I don't think there's going to be, some special, magical development that supersedes Zoom in the next 6 or 8 months, whatever it is. So, if you can change it up, you can get people to be involved. It's really just a matter of what people are comfortable with trying to do and engaging themselves as best they can. It's because we just can't put people in the same room as other people. It seems for a while yet.
And we're going to be doing some craft projects in a bag that we'll distribute to people who are interested. And, I'm always open. Anyone who has any ideas, I would love to hear them. But we are, doing the very best we can with, the reality that
Yeah.
we're living in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned it in here that you've had an opportunity to do something a little bit formal with some of the other directors of our kinds of community, like senior centers. Did I see that somewhere? Or am I imagining?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm still participating in all of the meetings that are available, and unless they conflict with something that I'm doing with the seniors in our senior center. But we're all very much in the same boat. The senior centers that were able to try very guarded and limited openings back in October, they've all had to close. So the variant has only complicated the issue.
Virginia, you can mute your video.
I can mute my video.
You can mute it.
How do I
So
do that?
if you hit in the corner where it says Virginia Mavuli,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Yeah. But as I said, this is the reality that we have right now. So,
Yeah, I would just encourage you to keep talking to people, because you never know what you hear that somebody's doing that is easy to steal.
we share, Bill. We share.
Right. No, I think I've even used that reference before. But no, it's sometimes somebody does have a good idea that you haven't thought of.
Absolutely.
Right.
No, that's how I learned about the Senior Learning Network, and I am thrilled.
Yeah.
That has really taken off.
So, okay, so we don't have to vote for this, right, Julie?
No.
Right. Okay. Did we lose Julie?
Yep, there I am.
Oh,
No, you don't have to vote on this at all.
No, I saw the 6 images on top. I didn't realize there was one to the left still. Great. Well, that's all I have to question. Any other questions for Linda that anybody else has?
No.
No.
Great. Okay. And our next order of business is our meeting. Oh, election of officials. No. Good. Roxbury, the Friends. Do we have any information from the Friends at the moment? Any recent developments to report?
I do not. Do you, Virginia?
No, other than, we're holding off on Soupson until March. Other than that, no, I think we're having a little bit, we're going to have a meeting soon. I think maybe early next week or whatever, right, Tori? Peg's trying to get a meeting together.
Great.
But, all right, yeah, we're just losing people on the board. So we're going to have to talk about what we're going to do. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned in my report, the Friends had a very, very, very successful poinsettia sale, and you're all to be congratulated. Sharon was there, Virginia was there, picking up.
Tori was not.
Tori was doing other things, but there was a great volunteer effort to pick up all of those beautiful poinsettias, and it was a very, very successful sale for the Friends. And again, congratulations for thinking outside the box and realizing that this was something that could be done, and hopefully, it was a total win-win-win.
Well, Pam Rusco really, yeah, Pam Rusco really,
She took
spearheaded
charge
that.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
She's really
Yeah.
good at it.
And she
It went
had
well.
great-
She was very organized and, did a lot of the work. So kudos
Well,
to her.
Yeah. And she's done it so many times for either us or for Booth School. She's got it down to a science.
She
Yep.
does. And, but she also had a lot of support. She could not have done it by herself. And as I said, Virginia was there and Sharon was there and several other people. So thank you all who participated. And
You're welcome.
Yeah, and it's great as far as being in the community and having, still having our foot in the, continuing a normal holiday life, it's,
Mhm.
for me, I
Yep.
thought that was great, because we couldn't do so many of the other things to sort of do that. And as a new idea was for this time, especially, it's great. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. All right. So I guess, but the only thing is that we will need to get some idea, I guess, on the support, how the fundraising went, and so forth by the time before the end of the month.
I
Linda,
think we're gonna meet next week, Bill, when I talk to Peg.
okay. All right. So Linda, maybe what we should do is think about if we need to have a special meeting, when that should be, or if we need to push our scheduled February 4th meeting up to accommodate our needs for the annual budget. Because tonight we won't be really talking about that because we won't have all our figures in.
Oh.
So we might as
Well,
well.
I think it will be, Julie is a very big part of this if we're going to meet and have a discussion. Kim Barron understands the difficulty that we ran into. The Friends could not meet yesterday as planned. And Kim understands, but it just makes her job a little bit tougher if we don't get this budget information to her by the time that she requested it. So I'd hope that we would really try to make an extra effort to see if we can't be considerate of the fact that she is a very, very, very busy person, and try to get the information to her. So if Julie can give us perhaps her availability, that might be a good approach. And if people can let us know this evening whether we can set a tentative or a future date for a second meeting this month. I'm not sure if you will then want to meet in February, but I'll leave that all up to you guys. So you do whatever you feel comfortable with.
I actually had a heads up from Linda earlier today, and I did take a look at my calendar, and I had explained to Linda earlier, this is an incredibly busy month for me. I've never had a January this busy. A lot of commissions are doing double meetings, a public hearing on a separate night than the actual meeting. That being said, the only availability I have is on January 28th, which is the Thursday before your February meeting. So if you want to move the meeting up, I would suggest moving it up to that night. Or we have the option of, if everyone has availability, maybe meeting in the afternoon or morning some other day.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying, I'm somewhat flexible, morning, afternoon, depending on the day. I don't know about everyone else, but, and I could do the 28th. I'm just looking at my calendar here. I can do the 28th also.
Does the 28th work for everyone else? I know Bill is working, so
Yeah. No, the 28th works for me. If we wanted to meet that evening and then just cancel the meeting for the 4th, or do whatever we need to do, because I don't think we would need to meet a second time a week later.
No, I don't think so either.
No, that would probably work. Should we do the 28th?
I can do the 28th.
Okay.
At this point, I can too, as far as
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So we'll get that booked.
Let's just do that, and then Julie, if you would just, again, I'm not sure if it's a 2 or 3 step process, if it's just change the meeting time, or maybe we should just change the meeting time right now before
Well,
we
if you
approve
wanna-
the schedule.
Well, I mean, what time do you want to meet? At 7:15?
7:15, same time?
Yeah, same time is fine for me on the 28th. Otherwise, we'd be looking at moving it around with different times
Yeah.
elsewhere.
So,
Um,
go ahead.
Yeah, later in the evening, you're going to be approving your 2021 schedule, so we can just cross out February 4th and replace it with the 28th.
Great.
And
Okay. I'll put it in my calendar.
Okay.
Great. And then we'll meet again on March 4th, and hopefully we'll be past this, this time that they think it's going to get pretty bad. So,
Yeah.
Again, let's hope we can keep our numbers low here in Connecticut. So new business. Okay. Election of officers. We do this every year.
I nominate Bill Curran to be our chair.
I second it.
Is there any other officers that we have? We only have one officer in this.
And you're it.
Yeah, great. Right. No, because at one time we had secretary and we had some other folks, but I guess Julie basically functions as the secretary. And
There you go. Good job, Julie.
Thank you. You only need
Yeah,
a secretary if they have to certify some paperwork for the town. So I don't believe you have anything to certify for the town.
right. Okay.
Yeah, because Board of Finance, they have one, but
Yeah, I'd be glad to continue doing it. And
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
I'd only be glad to do it because I've got you guys working with me who are so great to work with and make everything, easy. And, I'm the least informed person of what's going on day to day. And so you guys are really the eyes and ears of this committee. So I really appreciate the help you afforded me. So do we have to vote on it? Does there actually have to be or did we-
you guys made a motion and you seconded it. So if everybody could just say aye, that would be awesome. Make it carry it.
I
Aye.
don't get to vote, so I'll vote twice.
Thank you.
As you know, at the close of business of this meeting, I've submitted my resignation because of personal reasons, and basically had a great time. And unfortunately, I have to move on to a new adventure. So I submitted my resignation as a close of business tonight.
Oh,
And
we're gonna miss you, Wayne.
yeah, we really appreciate all the help you've given us. Are you sure you don't want to commute?
And
Now it's only on Zoom.
That's an emphatic no.
Oh, no.
Well, thank you for all that you've done, Wayne. You've been such an important part of this board.
Yes, I second that and really appreciate
Hmm.
the efforts you made, some of the ideas you brought to the table, and your willingness to just jump in and help get things done no matter what it is we need to do. So we will miss you very much. And
think of it, you're losing a dishwasher.
and that too.
That's a big thing, Wayne.
Yeah, exactly.
Best one we ever had.
I'm thinking about the board stuff as much as the nuts and bolts. Yes, but again, thank you for your service to the town. So now we should look at, I guess now it's our meeting schedule, and with the one change of going to January 28th, 2021 for our ostensibly our February meeting, and that meeting will be at 7:15 as our meetings generally are. We don't have to do anything special on that.
You
Julie,
have to vote on this.
Yeah,
You have to make a motion to accept your 2021 schedule.
Okay, so can someone please make a motion to accept the meeting schedule as it currently is stated?
I'll make a motion.
motion to accept the meeting schedule.
And I'll second it.
All right, Wayne, going on the flame of glory. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous, I think. Okay, so I guess now we're moving on to our capital budget conversation. And again, just to review the two-pronged part of our effort today is that we will do the annual budget when we talk in January. So this is just the basically expenditure recommendations for the building or for other capital needs. Linda, can you take us through where we stand with the 2021 work that was done?
Well, the front walkway was repointed, and it is vastly improved. It is vastly improved. And the exterior of the building has not been painted. I did discuss with Barbara and Kim my concern that perhaps, waiting another year and the weathering that has occurred on the building might cause additional cost, and wondered whether we should allow for additional monies to be set aside. But I was reassured that that we are in a very good situation for those financial needs, and the building hopefully will be painted between the spring, summer, early fall. So we did not move forward on the wooden floors on the second and the first floor because COVID got in the way. But there is certainly money even in our maintenance budget line to take care of that. It's not going to be as expensive a job as I anticipated. We got some quotes, and I think we'll be in very good shape to get that done once we feel comfortable having, work people inside the building. So we're pretty much right on track. And now just need to look at what we're recommending for 21. Where are we?
2122, right?
Yeah.
Because we had requested funds I believe we really more just asked the town to be aware that we might be asking for these monies should something break down. But at the moment,
Right.
in terms of the refrigerator, freezer, and the Hobart unit,
Yeah.
how are those currently? How have they been functioning in the recent past when they've been used?
Well, they're still all being used, I mean, the refrigerator and the freezer, it's just not advisable to turn them off, even although that's a temptation. The dishwasher hasn't been used in quite some time. But the expectation is that, anytime I have had anyone in to service them, I'm told these are fine quality machines. We bought the town bought the very top of the line when we purchased these machines, and they're operating in good in a good way. I was up too late last night. So looking forward to 2122, we did say that we were really looking in terms of handicap parking, resurfacing the patio, and improving handicap access, and looking at the parking lot in general. I think the parking lot still, to me, seems in very good repair. I would like to add a railing to the back stairs, but I don't need that. That's going to be a very minor expense. I don't think it needs to go in as a capital expenditure. So I don't know how you all feel. Whether we need to talk about increasing the number of handicap parking spaces. I mean, it's an issue that comes up when you consider what is required of a handicap parking space. So if you have a legal handicap parking space, it takes up a huge amount of room, because you need to allow for a space for people to exit, should they need to exit in a wheelchair. I just don't know whether or not we are better off continuing as we are with the spaces that we currently have, and just not to kick this down the road, but I just I don't think it's, I guess my personal view is that it will take away more than it will provide. And I'm not so sure that it's needed.
Right.
Well, it certainly isn't needed right now. There are days when I'm the only one in that parking lot.
Yep.
So,
Well, my question too is that if we can't find space for a third space sort of in that same lineup that currently is there, whoever, we're going to have to put it in a place where a person is going to have to walk across the parking lot anyway, right? So it's still a fair, you know, there's limited, if we're going to put it on the other side of the building, away from where the other two current spaces are, we probably have to put whatever we did, put it in a very direct and easy accessible spot, but they'll still have to walk across the parking lot, right?
right, right.
Yep.
There's no way we can put it in the back, I don't think, because of the trees that are there. And I don't know if anybody, I don't know what the, you know, with the historical society and stuff, what we could even do there. So, I mean, I think we are somewhat limited, particularly if we can't somehow get that third space in the area that the other two spaces are. And I've looked at it as an amateur, and it doesn't seem like there's enough room to do that.
Right.
I don't know if you've heard about that at all, or you've spoken to anybody.
Yeah.
Is there a recommendation for the number of spaces you need for the number of people that are in the building? I mean, is there any ratio there?
Yeah, probably is, Tori. I'm just not aware of what it would be. I could research it for you, certainly.
Well, it was just a thought on, you know, whether we really need to consider it right now.
Right.
Yeah, I think until the center reopens and whenever that'll be, and then reevaluate it after that for the rest of the year and see what we think.
Yeah.
Later on in the year. As far as I go, I think it's not really a necessity.
Yeah.
But it might be nice to have, but not really absolutely necessary.
Well, maybe what we should do is maybe we should just table this or just add it to our 2022. And again, we'll just evaluate it next year. I mean, that's all we committed to doing, was evaluating it. And you know, if things had been different and we didn't have this pandemic, we might be having a conversation with Linda who's saying, you know, there's people that can't come here now because we don't have enough space. So clearly that won't develop in the next 6 months. So I would be all for just moving this into an evaluation mode for 22, 23.
And I think what
that's a
people
good
do,
idea.
if need be, I mean, mostly everybody knows everybody who's in those handicapped spots, and there are people who kind of double park it.
Right.
You know, we'll park
Right.
behind someone who's in a handicapped spot.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so you get 3 cars there and you know whose it is. So if someone needed to leave, you know, we could always get the car moved.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the short term, I think in the short term we'll be okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about it again next year. And if, you know, we'll just keep kicking it down the road until it becomes an issue that we have to address it with action. But I think it's wise to be, you know, aware of it. Are resurfacing the patio? Isn't that a similar configuration in terms of, isn't that a stone floor?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it is, I believe it is bluestone that is set in stone dust. So, and that permits, you know, freezing and thawing
Heat.
and whether or not again, I know it was a concern at one point. We did have someone who was using a walker and for whom that patio was going to be a problem. They no longer live in our community, and I don't know whether they would be participating in activities in the future. I'm not sure. I think the addition of the second railing would be an important thing. We really don't have handicap access from the patio through that patio door.
Yeah.
People would have to come through the front way to, and it's certainly doable and people do it. They go through the front door, which does have a ramp. If we were to add a ramp, there's a lot of room that would have to be taken away from the patio area to have a properly installed ADA approved requirements that, again, whether we feel that's in the best interests of our community at this point, I'm not quite sure that I see it as, even once COVID is over and we're back in the building, I don't see that as a really pressing need at this point. But I'm certainly, anxious to hear what you guys think.
I agree with you, Linda. I don't think it's that necessary now. And we only really used the patio when Mary Ann was having cooking classes. And yeah, so the patio really isn't utilized that much. in
No,
general.
it's
No.
underutilized. It really
Yeah.
is. Most people feel more comfortable being in the building because it's, air conditioned and it's climate. The climate control makes it just more comfortable for people. But it's a lovely area, and it's a lovely area to maintain. But I'm not sure that we need to do anything other than perhaps have additional stone dust, swept into the existing crevices, which would be a rather minor.
Are the flagstones themselves pretty flat?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because
Unless there's been ice that has gotten underneath them. But then they usually flatten out, once the freezing season is over, and it's flat. There's no real tripping hazard.
No, we never really had a problem when we were out there.
No, it was a bit of a challenge for someone who was using a walker. But there are walkers and there are walkers, and we do have walkers in our building that have bigger wheels that are easier for people, and I'm always sure to have at least one of those large wheeled walkers, so that if anybody was experiencing a problem with a smaller wheeled walker, that they would be able to use that larger wheel, which makes all the difference. It just makes all the difference.
Well, my only thinking is that, again, it may become more of an asset in June, July, August, September, depending on what restrictions or opportunities to get around restrictions exist. In other words, I guess what I mean is maybe we would be able to hold some, like you said, you did a cooking class out there in at some point, having an outdoor venue might not be a bad thing to have,
Right.
as we slowly reopen.
Well, and especially if we're permitted to hold events, outdoor events. No, I agree with you, Bill. I'm just not quite sure that I think what we have is adequate for all of those needs. We have beautiful furniture that people use, and umbrellas that are used, and providing shade. I'm just, it's just really hard right now to make a recommendation that says we're going to be doing this, or we're going to be needing to do this because we don't have access to the building, because I don't know that that's going to be a factor.
Yep.
If we need to, reset any of the stones, or, add stone dust to what we have, if any, if there is a need, I mean, all of that is easily done with our regular maintenance.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as the surface is flat and safe for the most part. I mean, I know, if the crevices or
Yeah,
needs stone dust,
and
different.
the stones are big.
Yeah.
The front walkway, there was some of those stones
Yeah.
were much smaller, so it became much more of an issue. And fortunately, Jeremy Johnson was able to do a wonderful job in securing the stones. There was a lot of the cement had been broken up, so we really had an issue, and I was so glad to see that it was addressed so quickly, because I foresaw there being quite an issue when the weather gets cold, and all of that broken cement really heaves up those stones. Right now the walkway is in perfect condition.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll be required to, periodically address that, I'm sure, as long as we keep that. And I think
Right.
it's very nice, it's a very nice walkway. It would be sad to have a
Well,
car.
and I only discovered that one of our seniors actually installed that walkway himself. So I have now a very sentimental attachment to the walkway. It's not only beautiful, but it was created with care and with love.
So, all right. So we really, we're just going to push the evaluation of the handicap parking spaces into, 22, 23.
Mhm.
I think we leave the patio as it is for now. For the coming year, it sounds like we shouldn't necessarily do that. And if the parking lot seems like that is a shared parking lot, but it sounds like no, I mean, just the driving over it is more than just our group.
Yeah, but it's the town's parking lot. It's not.
So but also more vehicles use it than just what we're servicing in the community we're servicing. Just
But
in the
it's the
morning when
town's
people are
parking
dropping their kids off. Okay. What you're saying is that shouldn't be something that we're asking to be
Right.
surfaced
Right.
unless it's a big
That,
problem.
I think our issue is, does it meet the needs of the senior center? Yes.
Yeah.
When when a church holds a funeral service, the town is asked if people can utilize that parking lot. So and when there was a question of school personnel using that parking lot, that was quickly resolved. So yeah, I think our concern really is the fact that is a town parking lot for the senior center.
Right.
But not to make a big thing out of it.
Right. But the sense I get is that you feel it's in fine enough condition to service our needs.
No, it's in very good condition.
Right. Okay. So really all these things that we had already set for 21, 22, we've either moved across or decided we don't need it. Correct?
Well, it seems that way to me, and I'm certainly open to anybody else's opinions. and recommendations.
So the extra railing in the back doesn't fall under our capital expenditures, correct?
No, I think I can just ask that, we've got $500 in maintenance. We're halfway through the year. I think we've used something like $350 of that.
Okay,
So I think there is certainly money there that we can say could we ask that a railing
Yeah.
be put up there?
no, I think
Mhm.
that's important to move forward on.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
And also, I mean, to me, the idea of having somebody come in and sand or work on the refinishing the floors would probably be ideal to have it done while we can't use the place.
Well, except
Yeah.
that, well, um,
I mean, imagine if you were trying to have programming, and they would have to do it on a Monday and need a day to let it dry or something like that. At this point, particularly if you can, I don't know what your physical need to be there is when the workmen come.
well, Geraldine and I are asked to work from the senior center now, and that's what we do. But certainly, your point is well taken. If there were workmen who would be able to do that work now, it might be a very good idea to do it now.
I mean,
Perhaps
it's in our budget for this year, right? I mean,
actually, I think that it's a very modest expense. It will probably come out of maintenance, and
Right.
and that's I was advised that it should really not be put in as a capital expense. It's just,
even though we had done that last year.
yeah,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I guess what I'm recommending is to think about it from that point of view, is that
yes,
once you
no,
open up, you're opened up, and you won't be able to. You'll have to disrupt things in order to do it.
oh, no, definitely. Let's give it maybe though. Let's get past this next hurdle and let's get some, see some sense of opening on the horizon, which, at this point, we're nowhere near there.
Right. It may be a year. I hate to say that, but who knows? But again, we should take advantage of what we can take advantage of while we can do so that we're most prepared for opportunities when they come.
That makes sense. That makes sense to get that kind of work done while no one's using the building.
Yes, it does. It does. There are fumes and of course sanding and yeah.
Yep.
So again, we wouldn't have to add anything to future work from what you're saying between getting the railing done and getting the floor sanded. You'd be able to take that out of maintenance. So we just leave 2021 as is. I mean, I guess again, we've talked about this refrigeration stuff, but at the moment it sounds pretty good. So maybe we just leave that off until we start seeing things breaking down and start having to spend money on repairs before we go too far. And that we'll address it in the future. But maybe try to get the wood floors and the railing done still within this year's 2021.
Right.
And it sounds like 21, 22, all the things that we have in here are either our evaluation is that we don't need it now for the parking. The resurfacing the patio, it seems like it's in fine enough shape, so we don't have to do that. Parking lot, we seem to feel it's not under our purview, and so there's no reason to lobby to get that done. So all these things we originally had for 21, 22, we should probably remove, but maybe we should get the second floor interior moved up to next year, because again, we're going to be I suspect, probably unable to open, certainly not before the fall. So maybe, or late summer, so maybe early in the next fiscal year, we might be able to get that second floor painted, or at some point
Mhm.
shortly after, kind of move that up, unless, Linda, there's something else that's more pressing that's come into play.
No, I really, I think that would be a good idea. And also to look at the air conditioning, just to see if there is any need for that.
Is there a problem with conditioning?
No, there's not.
Okay.
Serviced on a regular basis. Again, the town bought quality units. Whenever we've had a problem, it's been addressed. If anything does go wrong, I mean, I think perhaps you can keep that in there as just something that should be evaluated.
How old do you think those air conditioning units are? Didn't they go in when they did the building initially?
It's my understanding that they were installed when the building was renovated and opened as a senior center. So they've been working since 2005. So, they've certainly been there, but they're certainly, operational.
Yeah.
And
I think with
occasionally we've had a glitch, but it's been resolved.
Yeah. I think with our maintenance,
Wasn't
the
sure
fact
anything.
that we work hard to maintain them, and we do it every year, their life expectancy is, we probably will get maximum life expectancy out of them, which is going to, I'd be surprised if it wasn't in excess of 20 years.
Mm.
But at some time, probably in the next 4 or 5 years, if we start having to invest in keeping it going, or we find its efficiency is just unbelievably surpassed in terms of consumption of energy or something like that,
Mhm.
that'll be a decision we can take then. But I agree. We should just continue to evaluate some of our bigger ticket items, and maybe we should add. How old is the generator? Is it the same age?
I would imagine, yes. Yeah.
So maybe we should just evaluate air conditioning and generator, because if you think about it, the air conditioning is what we really need, and electricity would be the big thing that we would need here in case of a emergency or a disaster. And in the winter, we would certainly need the generator to provide heat, to help us have the energy to provide heat. So, we should maybe put that in the same schedule of evaluation.
So that will go into 21, 22.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very
good.
Then everything else is pretty much evaluate, and let's just move everything forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the 20, so we need to, do you have any projections, anything you'd like to add for 2025, 26?
Getting pretty far ahead. Maybe,
I know.
I think, I know they want us to put things in there.
Well, I would guess by 25, 26, we really do need to look at the appliances.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too.
Because hopefully we're going to be using them more, they will
Yeah.
be getting.
Yes. Yeah. So sometimes certain things do better when they're used on a regular basis.
Actually, I was going to say maybe it would be a bad idea to run the dishwasher every now and then.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
it's not
bad
gonna do-
idea.
Um,
Bad idea.
yeah. So maybe that is what we should, request funds to be put aside paragraph. Although none of those numbers will be valid in 5 years, 4 years.
No. Mm-mm.
So maybe it's just, review and replace, evaluate and replace as needed kitchen
Mhm.
appliances. It's 5 years from now. We can be general.
Mhm.
And if nobody's going to remember, what
Could be somebody else's issue too.
Yeah, is we scratching their heads, wondering what they're talking about. Yeah, because I think the technology question is certainly be something that, again, if it's pushed up a year, probably won't hurt us, because technology is always, who knows, it's always changing.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I mean, the only other thing I'd say is if we wanted to evaluate needing to paint the first floor, maybe that should be pushed up a year. If we're going to try to do first floor in 22, 23, maybe we should paint first floor in 23, 24 and evaluate roofing.
Okay.
Could do that.
At least that way, then the whole place will have been, pretty much refreshed and will be, I think at that time, certainly be out of I hope
Mm-hmm.
we'll be out of the mess that we're in right now.
Mm.
The pandemic mess that we're in right now.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know about the.
So, can I just review this with you all to make sure that we're all,
Yeah.
So for 2021 to 2022, we're going to evaluate air conditioning and generator. For 22,
No, we're also going to paint the second floor interior. For the coming year, it's paint the second floor interior and evaluate
oh, okay.
air conditioning and generator.
Oh, okay. I had that. All right. All right. See that?
We basically crossed everything else out of 21, 22.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then 22, 23 would be paint the first floor interior and evaluate the roofing.
Okay. And 24, 25 is the technology needs of the building.
And should that include, for example, that video screen that we have, which we do use a lot, right?
Yeah.
Didn't we learn that there was something funny about that? So, in other words, that should be included in technology. Technology just shouldn't be
Yeah.
Computers.
the computers or the modem or the computer lines. It shouldn't be limited to computer. It should be inclusive of other forms of, whatever, however we use it, whether it's entertainment, information, programming.
Mhm.
Again, when this thing's all over, we may find that all the Zumba people want to do it remotely, but we'll have our people in, with the big screen. Who knows? I mean, I would suspect that with streaming and so forth, that the need to have a good large screen is certainly going to be a benefit to our
Well,
population.
I think that capability is important to look into.
Yeah.
Because there could be classes or, all kinds of opportunities.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, as far as programming, movie nights, things like that people may want to do sometime. Go
Mhm.
horse racing.
Right. Right. Kentucky Derby.
So yeah, but we should just maybe note, inclusive of television the televisions and screen, large screen or something.
Well, yeah, we got to keep the Kentucky Derby front and center
Keep
in
it.
our thoughts.
So do you guys want to put the reevaluating the parking lot and handicap, excuse me, parking spaces, thank you. Do you want to put that anywhere else, or you want to just let that go?
I think we should just let it go for
I agree.
now.
All right, very
I
good.
think it's the kind of thing that if we realize, if it'll take a couple of months to even be sure we have a shortage or if it's a problem,
Yeah,
but it's not like we're going to ever be able to just call in the rollers and put the thing together immediately. So I just think it's something going forward, Linda, you kind of just have to be cognizant of if people start complaining.
yeah, right.
Or if we have some incident because, the piggybacking that we do doesn't work, or, who knows? But at the
Yeah.
moment, from what first of all, if we're not using the building, other than for you and Geraldine, the moment it doesn't need anything.
Mm.
And it may be a year or more before we have to have this conversation again. So I don't think we should keep going over it. And that's our evaluation.
There
Well,
you go.
That's very good. Julie, I believe the board has to make this a formal recommendation. Am I correct on that? Do they need to vote on
No.
this?
You-
No?
They don't. No,
Thank
No.
you.
nope, not a problem.
So-
Julie, what would we do without you?
So what did we put on for our 25-26?
25-26 is reevaluate appliances and replace as needed.
Now, I would also suggest that we include for the 25th, 26th, at least one set of airfares for all members of the board at that time for meetings in London.
Like it.
Okay,
Sounds
we can do
good.
that.
Can we move? Yeah, we'll be able to travel safely by then, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
We
goodness.
gotta check out senior centers over there.
Exactly. They're cutting edge.
Yeah.
No, that all sounds good to me. Does everybody else kind of agree that that seems to be a good pace for some of the things that seem to be pressing with the building?
Yes, I
Yeah, I
agree.
think it's great.
Sounds like a good schedule.
I think you're got a wonderful plan here. Thank you all.
Great. Well, thank you for the guidance. So let's see. So again, we will reconvene on the 28th to take further comment about the budget for 21-22.
And I will send out a information to share with you all, so you can have it in front of you and follow along and make good decisions. I know you will.
Yeah, well, and again, for you guys that are going to be at the Friends meetings, we really do appreciate all the efforts you make, and that the fundraiser is really critical to our ability to make things, cost effective for our community and available for our community. It just gives us such an extra amount of ability that please convey how appreciative the board is for that.
Yes, they are an extraordinary group, and certainly I don't think Wayne will mind if we share that we will certainly miss Lorraine as the Friends treasurer. She's just been
Unfortunate, she follows me.
she's a wise lady.
Now that she's not here, I can say that.
As
If
I
he was
say,
here, I
we
would.
won't
Yeah,
call
I
it what you
felt hurt.
said.
Yeah.
I felt hurt.
You follow her. Yeah, I think that's more like it, Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you make a great team. I think you make a
Yeah.
great team.
Well, we have for the last 45 years.
It might work.
Don't make any trades now.
And
Let's
30
hope.
in Roxbury.
I think you're on a good path, Wayne.
Wait, how long have you been in Roxbury?
30 years.
30. Wow.
Well, we bought the property in 74. So
Wow.
we've been coming up since 74.
Wow. Wow. It's going to feel like you're going to the big city.
Well, we haven't stayed anywhere longer than this. Usually it's 3 or 5 years. So
Yes, Wayne's lived an extraordinary, interesting life. So
yeah, I know. My God.
the next chapter.
No, my God. Now I'm basically sedate. I was just chatting with somebody that I had lived in Regina, Saskatchewan. So I had an opportunity of telling them that I had lived there for a long time. Not a long time, for about 7 months.
Hmm.
So I am going to leave now.
Oh,
Okay.
I said I leave at the close of business. So
Well, wait. Now you've got to, no, can you please give me a motion to adjourn?
I
As your
would
last-
do a motion to adjourn and say adieu.
Oh,
If I have a second to that motion.
every
I second it.
I second it.
All in favor of adjourning the meeting, say adieu.
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 Bye-bye.
thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Goodbye,
Bye.
Wayne.
Bye.
Good luck to you guys.
So much.
Thanks, everyone. Linda, get in touch if I can answer any questions or, if you have anything you need to share. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you very, very much, Bill, as
Thank you.
always.
Thank you,
You're-
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye,
Take
Linda.
care.